What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here, back with another interview. And listen, I geeked out on the film breakdown in the national championship of this offensive line, and we have a multiple year starter, Nash Jensen, with us, two-time All-American preseason and postseason selection man, four-time national champion himself. That's more national championships than a lot of entire programs have right now, man. So Nash, appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem, man. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So before we get into, your very accomplished college career, let's go way back, man. Coming out of high school, what was your recruiting process like? And, who was recruiting you the hardest?
Um, yeah, my recruiting process wasn't anything huge. Once NDSU came into the picture, that's when a lot of FCS interest came into play. I got a lot of offers from like the bigger FCS schools, SDSU. My first offer was actually Wyoming, so the old NDSU staff, but I just really found a home at NDSU. Some of the bigger schools were telling me, "Oh, wait till the end of this month or so, and we'll see where we're at in recruiting." But NDSU is just where I wanted to be.
Absolutely. And so outside of, it's just where you wanted to be, what were some of the factors, on visits, the coaching staff, the culture? What was it that led you to commit to North Dakota State?
One of the biggest things was I didn't want to be too far from my family. I'm insanely close with all of them, and they've always been able to come to my football games. So just being close was a huge thing. But also the old staff that was here, a lot of a lot of the coaches that are here now weren't on the staff, but they all just made it feel like home. They always reassured me that there are guys that are going to take you in on this team as a brother, and it's going to feel like a home away from home. So that was my big thing.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the coaching change, man. After the 2018 season, we saw Chris Kleiman head to Kansas State, where I actually was a student at the time. And so I'm really a big fan of Chris Kleiman. And Matt Ince steps up as the head coach for you. How tough was the coaching change after, really just your freshman season?
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that was tough was the change in offensive line coaches. I grew a great relationship with Coach Riley. He was big in my recruiting process, and he was a really big father figure to me, to all of us, and all the stories he would tell us were crazy. But I knew that once I heard that Kleiman was leaving, once he told us he was leaving, I knew that Coach Entz was the man for the job. He was the one who recruited me out of Minnesota, so I have a great relationship with him. But I knew the ship wasn't gonna veer off somewhere into no promised land. We were gonna stay on track.
And you guys did finished off with the national championship, won it again the next year, of course. And then for the FCS, man, COVID hit. And
Mhm.
the FCS, you guys, I don't think get enough credit, especially teams like yourself that made a deep playoff run. You guys had to play almost two full seasons in one calendar year. How tough was that on you? And how did the program respond? And how did they keep you guys ready?
I think out of everything, I think it was just more like the mental side of things because we didn't know. Like every week, we could have had a game canceled. Luckily, we only had one canceled. But just the uncertainty of everything was what hurt a lot of us. But we knew that physically we might hurt a little bit more in the fall season just because of how close the seasons were. But we knew what had to be done in order to get back to where we were after the disappointing spring season in our eyes. So Jim Kramer, our strength conditioning coach, he put us to work and got us ready every single week. So we knew we were going in the right direction.
Man, we've had multiple players on the show, and Coach Kramer has came up in every single one as an intricate part of why NDSU is what you guys are. And you say a disappointing season. I want to get people to put in perspective. You guys made the quarterfinals in a
Mhm.
semifinals in a disappointing season. That's what this program's like. And of course, coming into this season, man, national champions. You're fourth as a student at NDSU. For you, what were your final takeaways on the season and what made this team so special?
Um, I think we knew that we were going to be pretty good going into the season. especially like the big thing with our fall camp was the quarterback situation. We knew whichever guy was going to get the job, we were all going to be able to get the job done as a team. But I think after the SDSU loss, everything really turned around. And our coaches were like, guys, we can get beat by anybody on any day. And our offensive line coach, Coach Larson, um, just us as a group took it big on us because we didn't play our best game, uh, and he just told us how much he loved us and how much this program depends on us, and we really took it on our shoulders to go out and play physical every single week past that and just to dominate anybody who got in our way. So just the growth between the SDSU game and getting all the way to the national championship, I think is my biggest takeaway from the last season.
Yeah, and you mentioned the physical play, man. That's I mean, you guys, the front five is pretty much what NDSU's been built on. I think I ask people, what do you think of when I say NDSU? And I think the offensive line is what like 80% of our listeners say. But for you personally, when I say Nash Jensen is a four-time national champion, what does that mean to you?
I definitely never thought I'd be here. I don't know, just some background on my part. When I was a freshman here, my father got diagnosed with cancer in fall camp, and I was like, oh my god, I have to go back home and I have to try and support my family. I don't know how my dad's gonna do, but I talked with friends and family, and they were like, dude, you're not going to be the same if you're not a football player at NDSU because you know what you can accomplish here. Um, and coaches were telling me that too. They had supported me all the way through. Um, and it's just been a very great blessing to be able to be here these past 4 or 5 years now, have four national championships going for a fifth. And it's just a great blessing to be here.
Hey, gotta get the thumb ring. This year's the year of the thumb ring for you, man. And you mentioned a disappointing season just a minute ago, and that kind of plays into this question. Was the mindset in the locker room any different this year after you guys didn't win the spring national championship?
Um, Not really. There are some small things that we had to tweak. There's like media guys, like our new media team, Scott and his team. They do an amazing job. I'm sure you've seen some of the videos. Some of us older guys felt like it might have been a little too much for some people in the locker room, so we got that changed even just a tiny bit. But other than that, just the mindset in the locker room was to lock every Saturday. We had to find our own way to lock in. Um, just get out on the field, warm up, listen to whatever music you got to listen to, um, and just get ready to roll some people.
And that's where I want to go to next, man. I'm a former O lineman, so I'm all about the O line on this show. What separates North Dakota State's offensive line from the rest? Because I mean, you guys, I think, should be ranked in the top 10 FBS offensive lines. So forget FCS. What makes y'all so special and different?
I think definitely our love for each other makes us different from other programs. At other programs, there might be guys who, think of it as, oh, I'm going to come in here, try to start and get my shine and then move on somewhere else, especially nowadays with the transfer portal. But that's not what it's like here. We have a tradition that every season and even every off season that has to be held up by the group that's in the room that's been set since the 1950s, 60s, whatever it's been. Um, just to have that weight on our shoulders, we take great pride in that. And we try to keep it going as much as we can. We dominate people in any way that we can find. Um, yeah, it's just the great pride that's been set by the past.
Man, you guys have so much fun out there. I think that's really what pops out on film. You look at just the national championship film. You got guys sliding with the first down signal. You guys
Yep.
you guys are jumping on the pile at the end. I mean, you guys play with a different type of mindset. And so for you, and I try to speak on this on the show, being a former O lineman, and some people who haven't played O line don't understand this, but talk about how important chemistry is on the O line throughout a season and building that, almost like you say, a brotherhood along the O line where you know the guy next to you exactly what he's doing every
Mhm.
play.
Yeah, it's a really long and hard process, and it starts in the summers. My guy, the sliding you were talking about, my guy Cody Tudd, um, he's just a crazy, amazing, athletic kid, and we're just always on the same page, and we always critique each other. Like in practice, if I'm not on a combo long enough, or if he feels like he got off too early, just that chemistry that we built and across all five of us, that we build through the summer and through fall camp it's really huge. And even off the field stuff, we know we're always around each other. We're always in our meeting room, making jokes to each other. Um, but yeah, it's a great blessing to be able to play with a guy like Cody and Cordell, who's sadly now gone. I played with that dude. It
Yeah.
feels like for 10 years. But we just have a great chemistry and great brotherhood all around.
Oh yeah, and Cordell gonna be one of the top draft picks in this upcoming draft. This was the year a lot of FCS experts said people had to get you guys. Like you guys were young this year, not losing a lot of guys to the NFL draft. I know Christian Watson, Cordell, and some of them are headed off. But for you, looking into next year, do you feel like how much pressure is it to win a national championship every single year when you're playing for a team like North Dakota State?
Um, I'd say there's probably a lot. Just it's what we do here. It's either championship or nothing. And you know, Coach Hentz always talks about it. We call it pressure because the old saying, "Pressure creates diamonds." It's not stress. It's just something that we go out and work for each and every day. No matter what the coaches want us to do and what the players want to achieve, that's the goal. So
Absolutely. And then practices, man. You guys had the number one defense in FCS this year, along with one of the top rushing attacks, one of the fewest sacks allowed for the O line. Walk me through how competitive are practices between the O line and D line throughout the week?
insanely. Luckily, we don't have to go against those guys too much during the season, but in the fall, it gets really, really chippy. We know that every single fall practice, and whenever we get the chance to during the season, that we're going against the best guys that are best guys in the nation. Um, and it really prepares us for every week. We're probably not going to see another defense like them, so they get us really prepared that way.
Oh man, I know I would love I know that practice film is on a whole nother level, man, and it gets you guys ready for Saturday. But take me back, man. Freshman year stepping on campus, Nash Jensen versus the Nash Jensen I'm talking to now, man. How has your game evolved from freshman year until now?
Freshman year, I came in at 370 pounds. I didn't look it, but I definitely felt it. I was not as athletic as I am now. I'm nowhere near as fast as I am now. But I'm really proud of the way that I've been able to just change the way I play. In high school, I didn't have the greatest pad level, didn't have the greatest finish. Those were the big things that Coach Riley was telling me when I came in. But um, just see the caliber of player I am, that I think of myself as I am now, with the run and the pass. I feel like I'm just a really complete player, and that's thanks to all the coaches and all the older guys that have taught me along the way.
Oh man, absolutely. And I'm expecting next year, man. You guys have some guys that are going to be graduating over the next probably 2 seasons that I think are all going to be NFL prospects, man. So I'm excited to see it. But let's get to know you a bit as a player, man. Which NFL offensive lineman do you compare your game to the most?
I think my favorite lineman is Zach Martin. I followed him since Notre Dame. I watch a lot of his film. Just try to nitpick and see what I can try to do better. I can't match that physicality yet, but that's definitely what I strive for every single week. Him and Quentin Nelson is an absolute dog. So I try to emulate those two the most.
Hey, gonna go down as two of the greatest of all time
Yeah.
on the interior offensive line position, man. But for you, getting ready for game day, offensive linemen could be very hit or miss. Some offensive linemen go out there, it don't matter what they're wearing, how they get ready, they're ready to play. Others are more superstitious. For you, what's your pregame routine on Saturdays?
Um, yeah, I try to be right after we eat our team breakfast. I try to be the first guy in the dome getting my ankles taped. I feel that gives me a lot of time to just sit at my locker and listen to whatever music I feel like listening to that day. I'm a big J. Cole and hip hop kind of country guy, so I kind of like everything. And then I just keep that on and get my cleats on, go out to this field. I have the same routine every single time. I do a little stretch, I do my footwork, I do my pulls, then I end with some pass setting. And then I just go back into the locker room, I chill for a little bit. That's where I really start to get my mind right and just get ready.
I love it, man. And so with that, I know some D linemen probably have some nightmares because I've saw that ETSU game, man. There were probably like 3 or 4 plays where it was what you did to someone like on a pull. I forgot what it was at the goal line, and you just
Yep.
flattened somebody. For you, what's the number one mistake a D lineman can make against you?
Oof. I think probably doubting my quickness. Um, I feel like I've really evolved that way, going side to side. I can get a guy reach pretty easily. Um, so just I think that's probably the biggest mistake is them trying to play behind me on a combo, think that they can get back in their gap or anything like that. And also my pass setting. I think that's one of my biggest strengths. As much as I love to put a guy in the dirt, I like locking a guy down and pass bro too.
I like, hey, that's why you guys allowed the one of the fewest sacks in the FCS this year, man. You guys are very versatile on the offensive line, and offensive linemen don't get enough credit, man. I know when I was playing, going up against the same guy, the trash talk can get kind of heated down there in the trenches, and when you get a pancake block, you got to let them hear it. For
Oh
you,
yeah.
how big of a trash talker are you during the game?
Oh, for me, it really depends on what the other guys are saying. Um, oh geez, I can never be to the level that Cordell was at, but if the guy's talking to me, I'm gonna talk back. So it's not something I back down from ever. But
so,
sometimes some games I'm really quiet, but some games it's like every single play I'm just saying something, trying to find something to say back to him.
oh, so is Cordell like the trash talk king of the offensive line?
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. So for you, we'll give a little bit of credit to the other side of the ball. Who's the best defensive player you've ever had to go heads up against?
Oh man. Um, I think I gotta give that to Jared Brinkman. That dude is insanely athletic, insanely strong, and really quick. He plays with amazing pad level. He definitely gave me some nightmares in the spring. I had a really bad game against him when we went down to the Unidome. But other than that, I'd probably say Jabril Cox. While he was here, I couldn't touch the dude. He had probably arms longer than me. He was probably the fastest dude on the field any play other than Christian Watson. Yeah, those two are definitely two that stand out.
Oh yeah, I got to see Jabril play when he transferred to LSU when he came
Mhm.
down here, and I mean, just being seeing him in person, the guy is just a freak athlete, man. I mean, he's a different level. But
Yeah.
you, you got one more year, man. I know your schedule's already set in stone, but if you got to play matchmaker, who's one FCS team you would like to play before graduating?
One FCS team, oh, I need to beat the Jackrabbits. I've lost to them 2 straight times now. That's a game that's definitely circled on my calendar. I don't want that to happen again. We just need that rock back. National championship trophy is amazing and everything. But the rock is something that's very close to me, I think. And I really want that thing back.
Oh man, it was going to be wild in Frisco if SDSU made the Natty because North Dakota State versus South Dakota State would have been that's a different level
Yeah.
of attention down there in Frisco, man. But speaking of your personal goals, what are your personal goals for your last season in 2022?
first one off the bat is obviously to win a national championship. Um, that would be huge. Being another one would probably be to get the All American and All Conference and all that stuff. Me and Cody were trying to keep up the. I don't remember if Cordell got it this year or FCS Offensive Lineman of the Year or anything, but just that's like what we had like a string of like 5 straight or something. So one of us hopefully can win that. And then another one, me and Cody came up with this one last year, and I was doing it with Dylan Raines while he was here, but to allow 0 sacks on our side of the offensive line.
Oh, that's a big one. Hey, I'll be paying close attention, man. You guys don't allow a lot of sacks, and also you guys always. I mean, I don't think I know Quincy gets his shot for being super athletic. I don't think Cam gets enough credit for being able to move outside the pocket enough too. So,
Yeah.
that they can get after it. And so, for you as an offensive lineman, I know it's big depending on who's in the backfield. What was the quarterback change like this year, and all the different formations? Because you guys were very versatile. You could have Quincy back there, you could have
Mhm.
Cam, and then you guys had 4 running backs, and then you put Christian Watson in the backfield sometimes. I mean, very versatile in your attack. What's the kind of different styles? How does it affect you guys up front?
I think it keeps it interesting. It makes a lot of the different plays that we run fun. We ran outside zone Christian. We called it 29X slant, so we knew that the fast guy was getting it. Um, that was really fun, and I'll give Cam a ton of credit. He's a great football player and can run the football if we need him to. But seeing Quincy come in, I'm like, oh, let's go. We're about to run some quarterback power or something like that. Um, but yeah, it definitely keeps it interesting. Especially in pass pro, you never know. Like especially on the left side, if the right side's collapsing, and then all of a sudden you just see Cam squirt up the middle. But it's really fun playing in our offense.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, I think you saw it on the Kobe touchdown run this year, and Quincy had a crazy game in Frisco this year
Yeah.
too. You guys, I mean, there was holes the size. Like, I'm not very fast anymore. I would have hit the end zone. I would have hit my head on the goalpost behind you guys, man. But the last question here, man. Next year, I'm expecting you to follow Cordell and the long line of offensive linemen to the NFL draft. If an NFL franchise asks you what they're going to get in Nash Jensen, what do you tell them?
They're going to get one of the hardest workers they've ever gotten. Just everything I've learned at this level and what I had to do to be able to play here. It's definitely changed my mindset on a lot of things. They're going to get a guy who's really ready to learn. I really pride myself on being coachable and being able to change something right in the play after. So, just a tough dude who's ready to be coached and ready to give everything for the program.
Oh man, I like it. And so, this is your time, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. I was really looking forward to this. I need to get some offensive linemen on here, man. I like talking to you guys, breaking down y'all's game. But for you, man, what's your social media, man? Let them know where they can follow you. Any shout outs, NIL things you need to shout out, man. The time is yours.
Yeah, I'm not a big NIL guy. I'm not a super big name in NDSU, but you can follow me at JENSE011 on Twitter. You can follow me at Nash. I think it's Nash.Jensen66 or something like that on Instagram. That's all I got for social media. I'm not a huge social media guy.
Hey, you know how it is with offensive linemen, man. We stick to our game, and
Yeah.
you could catch this film, man. And guys, make sure to go follow Nash on all his social media. The bigger his platform gets, the better and bigger things could be down the line for him. And also follow his journey for a thumb ring. We're going for 5 next year for Nash and North Dakota State's 10th national title in the past, I believe, 13 years, which is just and a ridiculous. I don't can't believe I'm even saying that on a show right now. But guys, for Nash, myself, and the Blue Bloods, we are out for right now.